Neil, thanks for joining us. I imagine it's been a good mood in the camp this week after Tuesday.
Yes, obviously, getting through that game give everybody a boost, and it's been nice to come in on the back of that win.
Is there a feeling now that in the last two performances you've shown that you might be turning a corner?
It's too early to be saying that. Obviously, the linking game has to be used to just remind the players of what's needed if they're going to pick up points in this league and what they have to do to try and get those points. So I think you can always refer back to it, but it's too early to say that we've turned a corner. We need to string together a run of results.
What are your players showing more of that perhaps they weren't before?
I'd never doubt the players' efforts. I think in the Grimsby game we were unfortunate to lose that one 1-0, and I think the Oldham game wasn't a fair reflection of the game, the scoreline. But obviously we give away poor goals in those games. We defended a lot better against Lincoln, and that's what you've got to do if you're going to pick up points. And we've obviously got a difficult game tomorrow against a team who were very good against us on the second game of the season. Certainly on that performance, they were one of the best teams in the league, and they will really test us defensively tomorrow, and we're going to need to make sure that we defend well against them.
I could just ask you about on the transfer front. Do you feel like you're making any progress in the market in terms of any incomings?
We speak to a lot of people. There's a lot of players who obviously we would have gladly taken, would have liked to get somebody in this week, but it hasn't happened. And what you've got to do is you've just got to keep going, and you've got to keep trying until the window closes to bring those players in. But you know, by the time it's the end of January, I'm confident that we'll get a couple of players in.
Is there any position of the team that you're looking to particularly strengthen?
What do you think?
Well, I wouldn't like to comment where you should be spending the chairman's money. But I mean, is there a specific area that you've looked at and you think? I mean, goals is something which you've talked about.
Yeah, I don't think it's a case of spending money. I think if we sign in players, it'll be on loan. But we haven't scored enough goals. Too many games we've drawn a blank. And obviously the players that have had the chance up front have not taken the chance. So we've got to look. It's one area that we're desperately trying to improve. And we'll continue to do that throughout January.
While you haven't signed anyone yet, is there still a chance for those players who maybe haven't taken their chances up front to almost change your mind, or is it a case of maybe it's too late now and you have to get those players in?
Well, even if those players who probably haven't, been in great form, even if they were to hit form, we'd still need to strengthen. So I don't think that is going to change my opinion. It would be great if, we had a lot of people who got on the score sheet, and that would be really welcome. But it won't change my opinion. We need to strengthen. We need to get more attacking options at the club.
Looking into the league form, how important is it now that you move away from the bottom end of the league into more of a mid-table position so you can be looking upwards?
Well, nobody wants to be involved in a relegation battle, which is what we had last year. But if you don't win games, then that's what you're going to be in. So we all know the situation. We need to pick up points, and we need to get them as soon as possible. But nobody's going to give us any points, and nobody's going to make it easy. So we're going to have to make sure we roll up our sleeves and we get those points as early as possible. But like I said, you can't wave a wand and suddenly solve all the problems. But we've made a couple of steps, and we've got to keep making sure we can improve.
Scott Brown's just been telling us that it's a case of not thinking about Wembley and the EFL Trophy now. You've got to focus on the league. Is that something you've been drumming into the players this week?
I think we were focused on the game the other night. We had to be, because it was an opportunity for us to get through. But once that game's finished, you know you're concentrating on the next game. That's always the case. I'm pleased that we're still in the competition, but you know, all anybody is concerned about is obviously where we are in the league, and we have to do better over the second half of the season and get ourselves higher up the table.
And Colchester team, Scott Brown also said actually was the best team you played this season. He thought a difficult test tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, when you're struggling for a win, and like we have been, probably you don't want to be playing Colchester, but we have to raise our game and do better than we did in the game down there, where we were second best from early on, and they dominated the game and should have won by more than the 2 goals. So we know what we're up against, but it is a big test for the players. But they had a big test at Lincoln, which they got through, and they've got to make sure that they're the same levels against Colchester tomorrow.